Hello Commanders, welcome to the command table. My name is Matt, and I have my attempts as well as a few builds suggested by people in the command table Discord. So we're going to hop into Leshir, but first, if you'd please be so kind as to like, subscribe, and if you want notifications when I drop new videos, be sure to hit that notification bell. Also, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave those below. If you have a cool build that you want to share, please feel free to hop onto the command table Discord and you can share it with us there. We're always looking for ways to save more elixirs and to make it a more economical boss. So let's go ahead and hop in. We have a build from Hardyone. He was very early on the ball here. He posted that right away. One of the things that he mentioned about this was that you do not put block on the Eternal Champions. He is using the health elixir, so that gives them a little bit more sustainability, but even if they do manage to die, that Blessed Bombot's going to bring them back. So the block keeps them at a low health, which makes it to where they'll do much more damage at the early stages of the battle. So thank you, Hardyone, for submitting that. That's very helpful. I'm doing mostly ranged builds myself, but for those of you who are doing melee swarms, this is a viable option for you. Alright, so that was that. Let's hop into my builds. We have my primary account, Mathramar, and this was the first attempt that I did, which is based on Breather's setup. It's exactly the same as what he did, and it works great. There is one tweak that I did after the next attempt that you'll see. Shreds through him pretty fast, but you'll notice that the boss does progress rapidly towards your crystal spires there in the back. So long as you have the unit levels to get him down before he gets there, you're good. But there's one tweak that I made that helped it a lot. So let's go ahead and zip through to the end there. We got that. Okay, so this is where it failed for me. I had a bad split. This kind of goes through the stats of everything that I had here. We'll skip through this because we want to kind of see what went wrong here. So the Earth Elemental splits in a funky way, which gets them right up to my spires and my Stormcaller. And that was very problematic. So a little disappointing there. But what I did is I added the entangling roots by dropping one crystal spire. And that made a huge difference, but this isn't even the ultimate build that I land on as I progress through my profiles here. But you'll see how that entangling roots slowed everything down, kept everything far enough back, and that smooths it out substantially. So very solid build from Breather. Again, I would just do that one little tweak with the entangling roots, so thank you for contributing that. Okay, we got the heart. Let's just go ahead and skip ahead. That's one shot, and this one it was very dicey on this particular attempt, as you'll see, because I'm able to get everything with the exception of that one life stone in the back here. And I thought, oh no, I've totally wasted a key. But you'll notice that his health is going down very steadily and not too much difficulty here. It's we'll skip ahead because it takes forever to get there, but you'll notice that I'm able to get him down all the way. The other thing to note is that these entangling roots just almost stop the boss in its tracks. He has a slow walk speed to begin with, so when it hits those roots, it just comes to almost a dead halt like you see here. So you don't need a monster hunter, you don't need anything like that. Just throw some roots up there and you should be good. So thought I would try on my second profile something a little different just to mix it up. I realized after the fact that I didn't need the monster hunter because the roots do most of the work. You could drop that monster hunter and get 3 more crystal spires and clear through all this early stuff very, very quickly. Besides, I don't want to have to use the elemental resistance elixir. So because the monster hunter keeps getting frozen every time he gets hit by something. So it's kind of useless. So we're going to ditch that. But you'll notice that the Soul Pylon, we had some Soul Pylon builds last time around 2 weeks ago, but the Soul Pylon takes out any stray life stones that don't get resolved in that initial phase. Oh, and something that I noticed is that in the beginning, the Crystal Spires will take out the crows without any trouble. But after your initial phase of the Ring of Unity, the crows start to tag things. So it's that first however many seconds is on your ring that you'll have the best performance. But then after that, see, look, there, it starts to tag stuff. So the attack speed from the Ring of Unity is what makes it to where that first phase of the battle you're able to kill the crows before they even touch anything. So I switch it up just a little bit on this one. I just dropped the hammer throwers and figured I'd just go all Crystal Spires, and here you'll see that those entangling roots, they solve the problem of anything getting too terribly close. But then we just don't have the bodies after that ring stops ticking. And again, it's kind of hard to gauge when it does, just because it's not when the ring blinks to show the transition, because it actually overlaps into the next transition by a couple seconds. But after that point, then we start to have things get hit. But yeah, the double soul pylon shreds through the boss, but it's completely unnecessary. It's total overkill. So you only really need the one soul pylon. You do have the risk that that soul pylon could get tagged if you only have the one, and you might lose it. But if you have block on it, then that gives it full health, so it should be able to take a couple of hits, not to mention if the block resets between crow strikes. That should prevent you from losing your soul pylon. And if you do have two groups of hammer throwers, as you'll see... oh, here, we'll show you this first real fast. For whatever reason, my Stormcaller gets snagged here. Oh, and this will run through the stats. But you definitely want to have block on your one soul pylon, if you have one soul pylon, which is kind of what I'm going with in my most current iteration. But everything else does not really need block. You can get by without it just fine. I do prefer to have more bodies. Oh, and yeah, this is where I ran into a problem, because I had the Stormcaller blocked behind those Crystal Spires, so where it ran forward, it just kind of stalled there, and that kind of kept it to where it could nuke crows and stuff. But this gets a little too close, and it catches a hit that I wasn't thinking it would, and there it goes. Yeah, there's just too much stuff initially there, and that's why it's good to have the two groups of hammer throwers, because that gives you more bodies for the crows to go after, which makes it less likely that your Stormcaller is going to get hit. Also, if one of the enemy soul pylons does manage to get off an orb, then it has more targets to go after, and you're less likely to lose a Crystal Spire or a Stormcaller. And that's why I did switch back to using the hammer throwers. Another note, you don't want to block anything. So I've rearranged the Crystal Spires and the Soul Pylon. The Soul Pylon's off-center a bit from these Crystal Spires. It's kind of up, and that makes it to where things can run through and get to where they need to be. So that'll run through the stats for you. Again, block on the Soul Pylon, enhance on the roots, damage and reload on the Crystal Spires, reload and damage on the hammer throwers, and I think on this profile I have double damage and immunity on the assassins, but if you only have the 2 power stone slots, you can just go for double damage. You really don't need the immunity. So here, Soul Pylon shreds through, and again, I just like having the extra bodies from those hammer throwers. It just smooths things out very nicely. Okay, so we've got the heart. Let's go ahead and skip ahead. So that covers my SR15. Now down to SR12. I'll just show you the one attempt from this profile. This profile is a little strong for SR12. I just bumped it down to run one of our clans, and yeah, it shreds through without any problem. But the next profile, so we get that. The next profile is a little more suited for SR12 to kind of redline at that. And this will run through the stats of what I have. You'll notice that the unit levels are a lot lower than that last one. Oh, yeah, upgraded to block 2 while I was recording there. Very helpful to have that reduced duration on the cooldown. Yeah, not a very high level Stormcaller here. You really don't need that high of a level Stormcaller. Again, the Crystal Spires are doing the bulk of the heavy lifting by killing all those units. The Stormcaller just kind of has that incredibly fast attack speed, just like those Crystal Spires, and it targets whatever's nearest to it. So if your Crystal Spires are attacking stuff that's further away, that's taking longer to die, and a crow sneaks in, then your Stormcaller is going to be able to snag that. You'll notice that it turns back and hits stuff that's behind it. It just popped that crow very, very quickly. And again, Soul Pylon catching that Lifestone in the back. Very, very handy, that Soul Pylon. And it does almost insane damage to the boss once the Lifestones are down, and even before. Okay, we'll go ahead and skip ahead since we've got the heart. We don't need to watch the rest of that. Okay, so here we have my SR9 profile, and I don't have anything above level 50 in this build. SR9, you do not have that second modifier, so no wounded. My artifact levels are very low, 0, 1, and 0, so nothing fancy there. Yeah, double enhance on the roots, reload and damage 3 on the Crystal Spires. We have block 2 and damage 2. I guess I should have updated that to damage 3. Stormcaller doesn't even have Power Stone slots. And then, I guess I need to upgrade the damage on my other hammer thrower too. I put the more powerful group of assassins up top because there's a Soul Pylon up there. So the weaker assassins I put on the bottom since there was just the one Stormcaller. But yeah, nothing above level 50. And we're able to handle SR9 just fine. Stormcaller goes down, but that's not a deal breaker. Stormcaller is helpful to clear through to those spiders' nests in the back and kind of clear up a lot of the garbage a lot faster, but it's ultimately more of a novelty really than anything else. And here's where the Soul Pylon does all the heavy lifting. Poof, poof, poof. And there went the boss. So there's SR9. For any of you who have a very low ranking profile, here's an SR1 just for fun. I don't have very high levels on this one. This one's more of a goof off account. It's just, yeah, blow up the Earth Elemental, kill the the Lifestone in the back, and then I've got the Drummer and the Paladin to sustain everything while it gets the damage on the boss. Something that I'll note on this one, pause it real fast. I put the Warhounds in the way back because if they run up and attack the Earth Elemental, he'll either knock them back, which delays the damage, so you don't want them to be the first thing to him. Also, if you have them up front, they get to the boss before the Drummer and the Paladin can get in range to keep them from dying in that first hit. So if you are going to use Warhounds with this type of a setup, you want to put them further back to where they take longer to get through, and it allows your Paladin and your Drummer a little bit more time to get up there to where the Warhounds will be in the radius. So anyway, we'll just let that one run through real fast. But yeah, just a little fun SR1 for anybody who cares. You can pretty much just throw whatever you've got at SR1. It's not hard at all. Okay, so that covers that. Thank you for watching, everybody. Appreciate you supporting the channel. Again, you can check out the Command Table Discord. We've got updates to our strategies over the course of the next 2 days. You can see what the most current iteration is and see if you can save yourself some elixirs. Also, thank you to Breather, Hardyone, Evan, and Pause96 for submitting your strategies this morning. That was very helpful. It helps us to get off to a great start. And the best thing that you can do to support the channel is to subscribe. Please, please, please subscribe. We are almost 2/3 of the way to 1,000 subscribers, and that's our big goal. So thank you for supporting the channel. Appreciate it. We'll have more content for you in the near future.